Am I the asshole for refusing to get separate health insurance for my teenager? Just to update, cause a lot of people think my husband is the one paying for health insurance. We split all our bills based on the percentage we each make. Since I make 58% of our total income, I'm responsible for paying 58% of all bills. And this includes health insurance. He comes out of his paycheck, but I pay him back 58% of what he paid. So if anything, I'm paying majority of the insurance. My husband and I have been married for 8 years now, and I have a 16-year-old from a previous relationship. His father is not involved whatsoever, and I'm lucky if I see a child support payment unless they take it from his taxes. Well, my husband works for the state. Too high means he gets really good health insurance, so we all have health insurance through his job, including my son. Last night we got into an argument cause I gave in to my son about something and my husband got really pissed about. They don't have a good relationship cause my husband is much more strict than I am. So my husband and I both agreed that when it came to discipline, he would stay out of it with my son. Well, now he's pissed that I gave my son his PS5 back like 4 days before he was supposed to get it back. Now he says he wants nothing to do with my son since I told him to stay out of it. Now he's telling me he's taking him off his health insurance and I need to get separate insurance for him through my job. No matter what, we'll have the family plan through his job cause our 2 kids that we have together are on his insurance, so he's still paying the same whether my son is on his plan or not. And not to mention, my insurance through work is stupid expensive. Like what he pays in a month I'll have to pay bi-weekly. I personally think it's being a petty asshole, so I told him no. As long as we're married, he's staying on his insurance no matter what. So am I being an ass or is it all my husband? You're both assholes using your son as collateral damage in one of your stupid fights. Keep your child insured, one way or another. Everyone sucks here. This is not about the insurance. This is about you and your husband being dysfunctional parents. Sort out your mess together because as it is your kid is suffering by your fighting and waffling. Torn between you or the asshole and Esh. You can't tell your husband you're not his dad, stay out of it when it comes to a united front for discipline and rules and parenting and then say, but you are his dad for all intents and purposes so he should be on your health insurance. Is your husband actually going to take him off or is this to make you realize how insanely hypocritical you are? You're supposed to be a team. You're supposed to parent together. You don't get to call him the parent in some instances and not others. Talk it out. Honestly, if my spouse took my child who was a minor off of health insurance despite me, I would be looking straight at divorce. I think you're headed for a divorce. I would bet that your son does nothing at home and gets away with anything because of the, he's not my dad statement your son gives both of you and your husband all the time and the guilt you feel because of it. You need to get your act together, really parent your child, and make sure that he understands that you love him, but he has a responsibility to treat his stepdad with respect. The insurance thing, let's be honest, it's his way of telling you he's done. You need to decide what happens next. A big you're all asses in this. Esh, you made a punishment for your son then backed out, and it's likely from your description that similar has happened before since your husband thinks you're too permissive with your son, and the fact that your husband isn't allowed to parent his stepchild and discipline him at all. Tile husband's the asshole cuz he's trying to financially punish you for being lax with your son's discipline though. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend I will not call her fat? For cultural context, everyone in this post is American, specifically from California. I, 19 male, have been dating my girlfriend, 21 female, for 2 months. She's plus-sized, and so is her sister, 23 female, and mom, 47 female. When my girlfriend and I arrived to her mom's house, the mom, the sister, and my girlfriend talked about how fat each other looked. During dinner, because they were talking about a TV show, the topic went to a scene where a man got in trouble with his girlfriend because of the "Do I look fat today?" question. They were talking about how silly the notion is that a man is always supposed to say no. My girlfriend asked me if she looked fat, and I told her I will not call her fat. The mom and sister laughed but my girlfriend looked annoyed. Later, she told me I was infantilizing her. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Your girlfriend is perfectly aware of what size she is without asking your opinion. You gave a respectful reply. She's playing some kind of game with her mother and sister and is trying to drag you into it. Don't let her. I'm going to go with nah. Fat is not a bad word. I'm fat. Your girlfriend is fat. It's perfectly fine to just use the most descriptive word rather than euphemisms like plus-sized or curvy. I think it's fair of her to say that dancing around the word fat does nothing but reinforce the idea that it's a bad word or something inherently shameful. She told you to your face that she thinks it's silly to act like someone's not fat when they are or to lie about someone's appearance to flatter them. Have you thought about why it is that you're unable to say that your girlfriend is fat when she herself has no problem with it? Nah, everyone seems to be assuming girlfriend is trying to trick up. But it seems like she just prefers to call things what they are, and sees fat as a description and not an insult. She was specifically asking the question in the context of discussing the question itself. It's not like it just came out of the blue. She had just said it's silly to answer that question with deflection, and I think she was embarrassed because she asked the question as a way of backing up her point, wanting you to be frank, and you immediately rejected what she was saying. But that doesn't make you the asshole. You have a different perspective on what's polite. Nothing a good convo can't mend. As a plus-sized person, we don't need dishonesty. Kindness, but not dishonesty. I am fat. I can see I'm fat. My clothing label shows I'm fat. Fat isn't a bad word unless nastiness is thrown behind it, and it's exhausting having people treat us like children. If I say I'm fat and someone immediately says, "Ah, no you're not," I genuinely get annoyed because I am, and lying won't change that. Not the asshole, just try and understand her perspective. Nah, you sat around people discussing how they find it absurd that some people think they can't just be honest with their partner, and then when asked you basically did the thing they just said was absurd. Which hey, tots your choice. But laughter is perfectly appropriate, and yay it's infantilizing to her. As was very clear from the context of why she was asking you. She does not want you to dance around her size. She is aware. I will not call her fat. Is you calling her fat by the way? You look the size you are. Everyone's unhappy. Am I the asshole for wearing silver hoop earrings to my sister's wedding? I, 19 female, am one of 5 daughters for my strict parents. Until recently, none of us had our ears pierced. My sister, 22 female, was the opposite of the stereotypically bride leading up to her wedding. She wasn't fussy about anything, and she didn't tell the bridesmaids how to look. I got my ears pierced and I wore silver hoop earrings to my sister's wedding as a bridesmaid's. Not the giant ones. Edit to say, they were just over an inch. Before my sister left for the honeymoon, she told me she was disappointed in my appearance. She told me those earrings were trashy and not appropriate for a wedding. She said I disrespected her. Am I the asshole? This isn't about earrings. It's about control, identity, and unspoken dynamics between siblings raised under strict rules. You weren't trying to upstage or disrespect anyone. No instructions were given about dress or accessories. You made a personal decision that likely meant something to you, and wore something you felt good in. You're a young woman expressing yourself look of triumph. So no, you're not the asshole. The fact that she chose to say this after the wedding was over, with the sole intention of making you feel bad, speaks volumes. Ignore and avoid her. Not the asshole. Your sister had ample opportunity to ask you to change them before the ceremony and reception. She chose not to. Not the asshole. If she really thought your earrings were trashy and inappropriate, the time to tell you that was before the wedding, not after. Info. 3 inches is big. Are you sure about the measurements? Not the asshole. Now is the time to get away from all your family. You are an adult. Conservatism is all about control. Break away from it. Am I the asshole for telling my friend to stop turning every hobby into a business? My friend recently got into painting, and she's actually really good. A few weeks in, she started talking about selling her art online, printing it on merch, starting an IG page, and all that. I casually said, you don't have to monetize every hobby, you know. It's okay to just enjoy something without turning it into a business. She got kinda annoyed and said I wasn't being supportive, and that I was projecting my own fears of success. I told her I am being supportive. I just think it's okay to do something for fun without stressing over followers, branding, or sales. Also, she's the type of person who gets easily stressed over small things. Now things are a bit weird between us. Am I the asshole for saying what I said? Edit to clarify, since some people are saying I'm unsupportive or toxic. I actually have supported her in trying to turn hobbies into a business before, including the last time she tried starting one. It became incredibly stressful for her to the point she had to see a psychologist because of the pressure and deadlines she put on herself. I was there through all of that, helping her pick up the pieces emotionally. So when I gently said, you don't have to monetize every hobby, I wasn't being condescending. I was just being realistic based on her past experiences. I want her to be happy and enjoy painting, and I just didn't want it to turn into another source of anxiety for her. That was literally it. I guess the wording may have come off wrong, but the intent was out of care, not negativity. Just wanted to add that context. I mean, from what you posted here I'd say you are the asshole, since you didn't bother to provide any other example of her monetizing her hobbies. I also don't see why you care or how it's your business. You are the asshole. There was no reason to say that, even if it is somewhat true. If your friend wants to make a business out of their hobby, that is their choice and there is nothing wrong with it. You are the asshole. It sounds like she's looking for opportunities to make money off of the things she enjoys. Why would that bother you? That's hater energy. You are the asshole. Your advice was unsolicited, unwarranted, unhelpful, and unkind. Info. But soft, you are the asshole. How many hobbies has she tried to turn into businesses and failed? If she's done this more than 3 times in 3 years, then you're in the clear. She keeps trying and keeps failing. She shouldn't stop, but she also should expect excitement from her friend group each time. If she doesn't do this often and is just the type of person to get overwhelmed easily, then you are the asshole. She needs support to keep from getting overwhelmed. A better response would have been, "That could work, let's get your 10 best pieces of art put on an Instagram page and see what people like the most." Putting a number on it makes her need to focus on the art first before the Insta. Nah, I really do not understand where people are coming from in this thread. If what you wrote here was accurate and it's just that straightforward and you offered up a well-intended conversational comment with no weird tone, this doesn't seem like a big deal at all. I'm the same way as your friend and I definitely have a bad habit of trying to monetize hobbies. I don't know, even if I was your friend and knew, I'm 100% going to try and make this financially profitable, your comment would be nothing more than a small talk blip on the radar. Yeah I know, but it just makes sense, going to see if I can make it work. But more supplies, maybe quit my job and live the dream, you know? Are people assuming you said this as snarkily as possible?